The Terrible Warriors gets funding by listeners like you through our Patreon page at patreon.com/Terrible Warriors. Today, on The Terrible Warriors, Derek the Bard brings his Edmonton crew together to play Unknown Armies. The world is a weird and terrifying place, filled with secrets and hidden mysteries. It is populated by an occult underground of cabals and adepts, avatars, and the supernaturally inclined. One such cabal is Houdini, traveling circus performers who are about to get in way over their heads. Oh, but I am getting ahead of myself. Who are Houdini? Join us now in our marathon character creation session to find out. Because they're not a cabal of adepts, avatars, and supernaturally inclined just yet. No, they're simply the Terrible Warriors.
Greetings, terrible listeners. This is Derek the Bard from the Edmonton crew. And we are back in, God, I guess you're listening to this at the start of November.
Cool.
Because we've been swapping out Blades in the Dark and Song of Ice and Fire for a few weeks now. You have listened to the terrible betrayal of Ratbones.
Oh, yeah.
Shane taking his place in Terrible Warriors infamy with Julian. Will they ever be in a game together and team up to betray everyone else? Or will they simply play against each other and betray each other or themselves?
Dolls for life.
Camp's over. This is goals!
Yeah,
Go
man!
Goals! But we are not playing Blades of the Dark today. No.
Sadness.
Well,
I'm excited.
No, I'm excited. I'm just...
You guys just tried to blow up an orphanage at that last game in the wrong part of town.
Easily the worst plan I've ever had.
You killed me for it, so I think that's fair.
Yeah, also only one of the three.
So now we're
one of the three of you is dead. One of you betrayed the party, and the other one ran off with Flotsam and Jetsam.
Yep.
Presumably to live in Duskville's neighborhood equivalent of Florida.
Yep, as much as we could, anyways.
As much as you could.
I'm assuming if we ever go back to that, we start on Iron Hook.
If you ever go back to that, you're playing new characters.
Yeah, that's only fair.
I wanted to be Flotsam.
I mean, or you could play a ghost. You could also play
a ghost.
Oh my god, you could play a ghost.
But anyway, this new game.
Anywho,
that game was so gorgeously disastrous. Guillermo del Toro wanted to direct it.
Zing!
But seriously, call us.
Anyway, obviously, I'm joined around the table with my good friends
Will Mitchell,
Shane Fitzgerald,
Cameron Dunn.
and today we are playing Unknown Armies. Unknown Armies is a game very close to my heart. I have played it since its first edition. I actually won prizes by playing a crazy dipsomantic writer at a convention game, where I spent most of my time arguing with nothing. And then we corrupted the nicest man in the world.
Awesome.
To prevent him from ascending, and apparently in service to the devil.
I love everything about this. Sounds
Unknown
great.
Armies is a weird game. Unknown Armies is a urban fantasy modern occult game on the darker side of things, where it's very much a game about broken people and their obsessions and their passions, and their slow downward spiral into insanity and oblivion.
Yeah, I'm smelling the Cthulhu on that.
Yeah, but there aren't tentacle monsters. In fact, all of the monsters of Unknown Armies, all the supernatural horrors, all spring from the human mind. Humans are the true monsters of this mythos.
Ooh, nice.
There may be tentacles tomorrow, though.
Well,
we hope not.
Humans.
Human-esque.
Literally about less than 24 hours after we record this, we're also recording Kagagami High. Also with Shane and Will.
It's gonna be a real good weekend.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be a weird-ass weekend, guys. This is the normal game that we're running.
Yeah.
I'm
also,
excited.
shout out to Wes.
Yeah, man, happy birthday.
It is Wes's birthday on the day that we are recording this. However, since you cannot know that secret information unless you steal Wes's identity using some weird occult correspondence ritual, we're not going to tell you when we're recording this, but we are going to say, Wes, when you hear this, man, happy birthday.
Yeah, dude.
This one goes out to you.
We'll make it punny.
See, we're still playing the wrong game for that, because Kagami High is the pun chart.
Yeah.
When at a loss to say, roll D66 and Kagami High to come up with a random pun. Anywho, Unknown Armies. Now, I will say that there is one overarching supernatural force in the world of Unknown Armies, which is the Invisible Clergy. The Invisible Clergy are 333, well, less than 333 because the world hasn't ended yet, human beings who've ascended to a sort of archetypal godhood. And we're not talking about, like, they have names like Zeus or Ereshkigal or what have you. They embody archetypes. The mother, the masterless man, the flying woman, the naked goddess, archetype of porn. She exists in this game. There's a cult of mages who worship her.
Oh,
they're called pornomancers.
I remember you talking about this on the show.
Can
This is the one with the pornomancers. Oh, fuck!
It's all right.
Be a pornomancer. Is that a thing I can be?
Like,
No.
let's lean against it. But just we know they're out there.
Specifically, it's not what you think it is.
No, I bet you it isn't.
Because this thing twists everything. And they go in a very different direction. With that said, this is the 3rd edition of the game, which was released as a Kickstarter. Came out probably about 5-6 months back. And instead of being able to be a pornomancer in this, unless you just want to port the rules over, you can be an avatar of the naked goddess now.
Oh. Neat.
Which is good and bad.
Yeah.
But at least she's not what they described her as in the 1st edition, which is that her archetype was the girl that everyone gets to have but you.
This is so sad.
Yeah, that's...
She was a porn star. She literally ascended on camera. Now, a weird quirk of this game is that the character creation rules aren't actually in the playbook. It's supposed to be like the player's handbook.
Yeah.
They're in the GM's book.
Interesting.
Because they are weirdly involved.
I love weirdly involved.
Now,
Let's do this.
before we do this, I'm going to explain a couple of the basic mechanics of the game.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go down your character sheet here. If you're a Patreon subscriber, at the end of this campaign, or possibly at the start of this campaign, you'll actually receive a link for the PDFs of all the character sheets, and you can actually follow along with us. Mm-hmm. Or you can just go to the Atlas Games website and download a copy of this character sheet as well if you're interested. Because I'm going to be using it as an actual visual reference. So, first off, you've got your name. Your cabal is going to be your group.
Sweet.
Your current objective. You're going to write that down, and we're going to assign a numerical value to that, which is both going between 0 and 100, which is both going to be used to track how close you are to achieving that objective, much like the stress clocks in Blades in the Dark.
Okay, yeah.
But it's also going to be occasionally straight up rolled. That was an impressive cracking of the joint, Shane. Like that was like Hulk walking into the battle, cracks his neck to one side, then punches a guy through 3 buildings.
Yeah, dude.
Your distinguishing characteristics, you're going to write a couple notes down there, just kind of describe your characters. Next to that, you have rage, noble, and fear. These are your passions. Your rage passion is the thing that pisses you off the most. That when you invoke it, you get mad.
Okay.
And when you get mad, people die. Or, bad shit happens, or you just kind of lose your cool and fly off the handle. Either way...
something neat happens.
Yeah.
And probably
Your
violent.
noble passion is your higher ideal. It is it could be a goal, it could be your faith, it could be something.
Yeah.
You're going to put words to that. Your fear passion will tie to one of your 5 shock meters. And it is the thing that scares the ever-living shit out of you. And every one of you has a fear passion.
Sweet.
Now, this game runs on percentile dice. Here's what your passion lets you do. Once per session, once per passion, when you are in an applicable situation, you can flip-flop the dice.
Oh, so a 58 becomes an 85?
You don't want that, but more like an 85 becomes a 58.
An 85 becomes 58 because it's roll under, my bad?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Do it anyway.
Do it anywhere.
Well, I mean, hey, if it's more interesting.
Under that are your relationships. You're going to pick 2 of them. Between the favorite, the guru, the mentor, the responsibility, and the protege. One of these relationships will be a GM character. The other one will be one PC in this group. So you will all be interlinked to each other.
Cool.
You have an actual numerical value beside them. Keep in mind you only pick 2. Mm-hmm. And I will explain each of them as we go through character creation. That will be informed by one of your skills. Now, That's only where it starts, however, because as you deal with that relationship, that stat will go up and down. If your favorite is, your dear old saintly mother, if you come down and you spend your day helping her move out of her apartment, or helping her move the new refrigerator in, and it takes time out, and maybe you mess up your back along the way, your relationship goes up by 5%. If you come over and just browbeat her into giving you cash, so that you can buy that hot new occult artifact you're trying to get your hands on, however, might work, but your relationship's going to go down.
And I presume if we don't call her, it goes way down.
Possibly. It depends on how you're defining things.
Cool.
And that's going to go up and down. And those NPCs are going to give me people to use over the course of the game. So in that box, you're going to write down a little bit of detail, and you're going to track your number. And you're probably going to cross that out a few times, depending on what you do.
Yeah.
Next up, we have what really is the core of this game mechanic, and what makes it really cool, which is your shock meters. Helplessness, isolation, self, unnatural, and violence. These are all the stressors, in your life. Helplessness tracks those times you've been unable to take action that you felt was necessary. Isolation tracks when you've been cut off from society or your loved ones. And that could be one of your relationships dies or cuts you out entirely. Mm-hmm. It could be that you're in solitary confinement.
Cool.
Yourself is driven by your own personal failures and the violations of your deeply held beliefs. When you realize you are not the person that you thought you were, you start having to make self-checks.
Oh, cool.
Unnatural is when you're exposed to phenomena which challenge your perception of reality. If you're an adept, which means someone who practices a school of magic, or an avatar, meaning that you are someone who embodies a portion of one of the archetypes of the Invisible Clergy, your unnatural is probably going to be already marked pretty high going into the game, because you're just weird to begin with.
Yeah.
But if you're a cop just fresh off the beat who's just suddenly gotten pulled into all of this nonsense, your unnatural is probably going to be fairly low to start, and then you're going to take a shit ton of it as the game progresses.
Cool.
Finally, your violence. This is one of 2 health meters in the game. Your violence tracks your reaction to physical violence done to you and done by you to others, or that you witness being done to others. So you'll take violent stresses when you're actually physically attacked, but you also have a wound threshold, which tracks how much damage you take. And your base set is 50 wounds. Cool. If you take more than that, you're in pretty fucked up shape. Now, with your shock meters, you're going to notice there are dots and there are boxes. Your dots track your harden checks. Whenever you check off one of these boxes, it becomes hardened. You don't have to make any stress checks that are equal to or less than your hardened notches. But the more hardened notches you get, the more callous and unfeeling you start to become to that sort of situation. And the more you start losing yourself into it. Someone with a lot of hardened violence checks is a mean-ass son of a bitch. They're the kind of person that immediately reacts with violence, and everyone around them knows it. The more stress-hardened checks you have, the less you know about yourself, the less you start seeing yourself as a unique person. But that also means that that's less about yourself that you can ever spontaneously realize.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm noticing on these tracks, there's sort of opposing increasing and decreasing numbers, and it looks like skills down the side?
You have 2 different sets of skills for each one of these tracks. There are only 10 skills in the game. The top one is your upbeat skill. It is inversely proportional to your hardened checks. Mm-hmm. The less hardened checks you have, the better that skill is. The bottom one is your downbeat skill. The more hardened checks you have, the better that skill is.
Interesting.
Your relationships are all going to be based initially on your upbeat skill. It's stuff like violence. The more violent a person you are, the better you are at kicking ass, but the harder time you have connecting to people. the more fucked up you are with the supernatural world, the better you are at keeping secrets and deciphering secrets, but the worse you are at noticing things because you start having apophenia, where you just start connecting everything.
The more that you know, the harder it is to lie.
Beside each of these, you have your failures. Every time you fail a stress check, every time you succeed, you're going to mark a hardened box. Every time you fail, you're going to mark a failure. Mm-hmm. Failures have nothing good about them. And every time you get a failure, it's going to start affecting how you RP that character, because it's going to change how that character interacts with the world. Now, you can seek professional help and start wiping away some of these hardened boxes and some of these failures, because they both affect how your character should be played. Beside that, you'll also see specifically a trait that you use to defend against stress results, and a trait that is used to cause stress on that. Then below that are your identities. You start with a minimum of 2 identities, and you'll get 120 points to divide amongst them. They can go no lower than 15 and no higher than 90 at start of play, which is fine, especially if you obsess over that identity, because then you'll get to flip-flop anyway.
Yeah.
Your identities say, I'm a something. I'm a doctor. So of course I have access to medical records and know how to sew someone up. Mm-hmm. You'll get 1 ability that you can substitute your identity skill for, regardless of what that ability's trait is. So you could actually be this really touchy-feely Tai Chi instructor who has like 1 hardened violence check, but you've got struggle as your swapped ability, because you know how to hit someone. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
Then you have 2 features underneath, and features are additional little game quirks. I'm a doctor, so of course I know how to sew people up, but I also know how to, one of my features is that I can apply medical treatment to someone. Mm-hmm. So I can actually help heal them.
Yeah.
Now, there are 2 other kinds of identities that you can take. The first one is a supernatural identity. Supernatural identities do not get features. Instead, what they get is a supernatural ability, which we'll go into if one of you decides to take it.
Cool.
Which gives you additional benefits in play. The other type of identity is an adept or an avatar identity. I'm a blank, which case you'd say I'm an avatar of the mother.
Yeah.
Or I'm a personomancer. So of course I can blank, except that you don't actually get that if you're an avatar or an adept. You do not get of course I can, and you do not get substitutes for an ability. And your features are preset.
Okay.
But if you're an avatar, you get access to your avatar powers. But your avatar powers also come with a taboo. Mm. They come with certain attributes that you can, symbols that you have associated with you, and a taboo that you can't, that if you break, you start losing your connection to your archetype. An adept school has a taboo, in which case you lose all your mojo. Mm. It has ways of gaining charges, and it has spells that you can cast using those charges, being minor, significant, and major.
Nice. Important question. Does this actually refer to magic as mojo?
At times.
Oh, awesome. I love that. I wish more games did.
The generic way it refers to it in the book is magic with a K.
Ah, classic.
But within the game itself, you could refer to it as a lot of different things.
Oh, yeah,
depending on your cultural context.
I was just curious, because that's a term for magic that I'm particularly fond of, and I don't see enough.
And that's what goes over on this other box on the side. If you're an adept, you're going to use the adept sheet. If you're an avatar, you're going to use the avatar sheet. If you're a regular mortal, you're going to use the supernatural sheet, which you'll also use if you take a supernatural identity, which you don't have to do.
Okay.
Thus, in this game, you can have a wizard, the avatar of the masterless man, a doctor, and that crazy dude down the block who'll read chicken entrails for you for $1.50. And they're all in the same party, and they're all using the exact same system.
Really cool.
Shane's looking at me like that. Shane, do you want to play the guy down the block who reads chicken entrails for $1.50?
No, you just reminded me. I think I know that guy. I heard him in the park once going zinga, zinga, Rastafari, walla, walla, waka.
Oh, god damn it! I'm amazed, however, that Shane memorized the entire Chicken Man chant from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, man.
Does he usually his entrails like string theory or something? Just like
he might. This is a weird game.
Wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah. I think that's about it. Oh, if you fail a shock check, stress check, you're going to have one of three reactions. You're going to panic, you're going to paralyze, or you're going to frenzy.
Cool.
None of these are good.
No, of course not.
Always frenzy.
All right, now this game is supposed to use a friggin' cork board, but because we don't have a cork board...
Oh, do we construct, like, a crazy person, like, bunch of, like, photos and strings?
So.
Well, you construct a thing between your characters, that's for sure.
Sweet.
As I mentioned, the character creation rules are not actually in the core book.
I now feel it's necessary to mention that as Derek was setting this up, we were all watching episode 1 of The Tick.
Yeah,
The new Amazon Prime Tick.
Okay, no, seriously. It's not like I'm plugging for Amazon Prime, guys, but if you get a chance, you have to watch The Tick.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It is the best adaptation of the character since the Fox cartoon show.
Yeah, definitely.
It's certainly more serious.
But also kind of true to it. Like,
Spoon!
oh,
We haven't
yeah.
gotten to that point yet.
He doesn't actually shout that in the show, and it's my eternal disappointment.
Tragic.
Well, yeah, but I mean, hey, it's first season,
Did
right?
their superhero friends come? You know what? Never mind. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Anywho.
So we're going to
I
start with...
actually care about spoilers in this series.
Yeah, no, me too.
Yeah, I showed them one episode, and I got them invested.
Yeah.
All right, then. Gather the Cabal. Well, I've got the three of you together.
There's a very pretty picture in that book right next to that.
These books are fantastic. I mean, just look at the layout on these things. Like, this is... Honestly, listeners, if you get a chance, it's 100% worth your time to go out and pick these books up. It's 3 books. If you did what I did and you were in on the Kickstarter, you got all 3 of them together for one great price. It's Play, Run, and Reveal. Books 1, 2, and 3. And they're gorgeous. They're fucking gorgeous. The production value on this is easily one of the best from any Kickstarter that I've seen.
Yeah, this is...
Look at that. Like, the collages of images are just fantastic.
This is making me really regret every Kickstarter I haven't backed.
Yeah,
Get more money, fool.
I spent too much of my money on Kickstarters, and I really need to stop. But at the same time,
But like with
I've gotten
like this,
so many great games out of this. We got this one. We got Bedlam Hall, which we haven't run yet, but it's going to be amazing when we do. It's Addams Family meets Downton Abbey.
Oh.
That's also where Gruel Truck came from.
Nice.
It's from Monkey Fun. It's the same company. Okay.
So let's make some characters.
Yeah,
cork board
all right.
characters.
Note cards. We don't have a cork board.
I have one at home. I should have brought.
I could have run out to Staples before this game and gotten one, but I didn't think about it. So we're going to start with step 1.
Okay.
The big picture. Okay. Once the pen writes.
One day.
No, I got it.
Yep, there we go.
Okay.
Big situation.
We're going to figure out what your objective as a group is. Now, I'm going to lay this out for you. I have an idea for the game that I kind of want to put before you.
Okay.
I've talked about it before. I watch Carnival a lot. And I like the idea of you 3 being modern-day carnival performers.
Love it.
And your objective in this case, if you're cool with this, I'm just going to put it out there for you, is literally going to be to get hired with, we're going to call it the Benton Brothers Carnival.
Okay.
You are on essentially a road trip to go there.
I love it.
So you're going to keep moving towards that. You cool with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds cool to me.
Sign
on with Benton Brothers.
As long as I don't have to play an illusionist.
Yeah, because that worked out so well last time. What was Ian Flux's secret history? Oh, that's right. Barry Allen punched you in one panel.
Yeah, but I avoided him in the next one because I wasn't there.
That was... I'm sorry, Cam. Your reason for not being there was gold. It's like, I hear there's a mission to Central City. I pretend to be catatonic.
All right.
Okay, so you're going to all grab your sheets. And I'm going to start this by saying, what are you guys interested in playing? I'll figure out which sheets we give everyone.
Yeah. There's so many good carnival acts.
Well, start off with the simple phrase: you want to play a regular person / someone with a supernatural identity, an avatar, or an adept.
I want to play the strongman avatar.
You want to play an avatar?
Nice.
Okay, we're going to give Cam... I knocked my dice on the floor. I'll pick them up later. We're going to give you an avatar sheet.
Nice.
Will. Cam, I love seeing you take the initiative here, by the way.
Yeah, beautiful dude. I think... oh, God, there's so many good carnival acts. I think I'm going to go with...
Well, don't necessarily think of your act first. Think of basically what do you want to... What interests you more as a player?
Well, I mean, my base instinct is to not be supernatural at all. This is just a dude.
Okay, Will's playing a dude. Shane, you want to be a dude? You want to be a wizard, or you want to be an avatar?
I feel like we should mix it up and have all three. So if you're just going to be a dude,
then you should be the wizard.
The gang's on.
Okay, then you're an adept.
There we go.
You got an adept sheet? Take an adept sheet, my friend. Alrighty then. Okie dokie. Fantastic. Okay. Let's start with giving you all some names.
Chad Broski. No.
Okay. I am going to completely ban the use of the name Chad now, because Chad has been in four different campaigns at this point.
Yeah, he's secretly a recurser.
Every time he's been a bro, he has been 4 different kinds of bros at this point. From the Ghostbuster secretary to a night spawn. To Real Bros Kill Demons. Sorry, Real Bros Kill Monsters.
Yeah.
Did you include Friday the 13th in there?
Yeah. It might have only been 3 games then.
Okay, yeah.
Were you there for Friday the 13th?
I was not in it, but I have been listening to it, and it is hilarious.
Bro. I'm assuming he's related to the crazy mobsters from the Hawkeye comics, who at one point have an entire page where they only say the word bro, but one of them uses it.
At some point, we're going to hit some kind of special event where you just make character sheets of all the crazy characters you yourself have created and make us play them.
Maybe.
Galvar, Mutork, Chad.
Oh, I love it.
For the record, he made me Mutork.
Yeah.
Which suggests what he thinks about my psyche.
Well, I mean, you are a mechanic.
Yeah, you do it well.
I mean, you're the only person in this group other than Wes who actually understands how an internal combustion engine works. Come on, guys, throw some names at me.
Adams, I don't know.
Chuck Adams, write it down.
Okay. I'm thinking my rube name is going to be Steven Lundberg, but my stage name
Here we go.
Is going to be Braggadocio.
Oh, dear Lord. What have I done?
Bing call me Bragg for short.
Okay. Shane?
Okay. That's a good... what's a good average Joe name? And no, it's not going to be Joe.
You've already done
I've
Joe.
blown my load on Joe.
JoJo.
Phrasing.
Yeah, I was just going to say, man.
Hey, man, the game we're playing tomorrow, you could very well roll up the name and be JoJo Cupcake.
Oh, dear God.
What was the name we had? It was like Daisy Cupcake.
Daisy Cupcake.
Daisy Sparky Cupcake?
It was Daisy Sparkle Cupcake.
Daisy.
What was what we rolled up for Kagami High yesterday.
Okay.
Shoot, I should have went with that. No.
Kim, what did you say your name was?
Chuck Adams.
Chuck.
I think I'll go with Jake Hawkins.
Jake, and a nice little throwaway there to Carnival. The main character was Will Hawkins in Carnival. Well,
Nice.
one of the main characters.
Completely by accident, because I haven't seen
Oh, well.
Look at that. Art imitates life. Imitates art? Whatever.
And you have magic!
Yay!
Will you be an avatar for darkness? We don't know yet.
Let's find out.
Oh,
and are we like bothering with stage names at all, or is that just
you can if you'd like to?
Okay, because I just thought of one that I kind of like.
Totally gotta have one.
Being the wizard and all, Mesmero.
Oh yeah, dude, doing mentalism and shit, and also straight up actual magic.
Will, what did you say your real name was?
Stephen Lundberg.
Steve / Bragg.
Yeah.
Jake / Mesmero.
It's like Mysterio, but not.
Yeah.
What's going to be really funny is if we find a school for you that you like that doesn't have mesmerism powers.
No, but that's cool. He could do a mesmerism act,
but
then his magic is totally unrelated.
One of your identities could be, I'm a carnival hypnotist.
Yeah.
So of course I could pretend to have magic powers. The other one, I'm an adept of something, so I have actual magic powers.
The idea is somebody's going to come up to him and be like, you don't actually mesmerize anybody. You're a fraud. And I'm like, I have fireballs I can shove up your ass. You really want to argue with me?
I will turn you into a chicken, so help me.
All right, then. Next up, notch the unnatural meters. So you're going to put one notch in each of your meters to start with. So just put a check mark in your in each of these.
Okay. Where?
Just on the first one.
On the first one? Okay.
Yeah, and now you're going to notch your unnatural meter. We're going to go around the table, and each of you is going to describe the events that convinced you that the supernatural was real. At the end of that, we're all going to have a little discussion over how many unnatural notches this should give you.
Oh, great. Is this a shared event, or is it a personal event?
No, this is a personal event for you. Basically, there are a couple different stages of character creation in this, and we're going to kind of go through them one at a time. It basically forces you to start at your high concept and then get into the nitty-gritty.
Love it.
So,
Braggadocio became convinced of the supernatural when he had been working as a talker for a ossified man act. And the guy was very old school. He actually has the condition where your ligaments calcify. And this is kind of always been this dude's dream, and so he's happy to do it. It was all good, whatever. And the act was winding down. The guy was going to go get hospitalized and get treatment. And at night went out for a smoke, and I saw him walking around. And that should have been completely physically impossible. He should not be, he was turning to, calcium carbonate. He should not be able to move. And he's just walking around.
I mean, he still looks exactly the same as he did on the stage.
No, he absolutely still looks the same, but he was walking around no problems.
Interesting.
And that blew his mind.
And did you talk to him at all about it? Or what did you do?
I think he didn't talk to him about it then, but then he followed up with it after. And the guy kind of denies everything. But things started to fall into place that had been happening during the show. Things that had been happening sort of, on site that were impossible, that all kind of led back to this guy. And it started to unravel other things.
Well, here's the question. Can he actually move, or is it a ghost that moves him?
Cool. Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, and so he kind of started looking into this stuff.
Okay, you
Does
met
he happen to know a man named Herbert West?
you met a haunted, ossified man. What do you guys think for the unnatural on that one? Does that rate is not too weird, kind of weird, very weird?
Pretty weird. Ghost walking man. I don't know.
Because, weird medical anomalies happen all the time.
Yeah.
But also, the guy denies it, and, he is hospitalized.
Well, let's actually...
The doctors seem to agree.
Here's actually where I'm going to go to the core book. I didn't have any markers, so I've actually just got paper clips throughout the entire book now that I'm going to have to remove later. Very methodically so as not to rip anything, but... You will understand why shortly. Okay, so we're going to go to the unnatural thresholds here.
Yeah, has it got, examples at each point?
Yeah, it does.
Ah, cool.
Hardened unnatural notches. 1 to 3. There's little to distinguish you from an average person, except perhaps a tendency to snort derisively when someone mentions their intuitions. Or 4 to 5. You tend to listen very closely and intently when someone discusses the paranormal or supernatural, trying to figure out if they know something or if they're just full of shit.
Ooh, that rings a bell.
You want to go for... What do you guys think? Should he go for the 4th notch?
Yeah, I think 4.
Yeah.
Okay, put 3 more notches into a natural.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right, then. Shane.
Okay.
This is also...
I know what I want to say, but I know you're going to veto it.
Well,
Well,
don't tease me.
Basically, Jake goes up to the woods with his friends to a cabin, and they find a weird book, and I'm just waiting for it to come out.
you want to do... I know you want to do Evil Dead.
Yeah, a little bit.
But the interesting thing is...
Is that in universe?
Well, a cabin in the woods is a good place.
No. It can be, and I'm going to tell you why.
Here we go.
Because I flipped over to something called Cinemancy.
What?
Oh my god!
Okay.
And what I'm gonna say is what you find here. Let me suggest this. You find a book, but what the book actually has is it's hollow. It's a movie prop, and inside of it is a reel of film.
Oh.
And there's an old projector in the cabin. You guys put the reel of film on, and it's a printing. It's B-roll from Evil Dead, but it's not shot with one of the studio cameras. It's shot with some guy's
some guy's 78.
Yeah. Apparently he's just off, but the place that he's filming in, if you match it up to the movie itself, he can't be there. It is physically impossible for him to be taking this film and still be in the shot. And when you're kind of thinking about that, one of the Deadites literally ring walks out of the TV and causes shit until somehow the camera gets knocked over and the projection stops.
Yeah, so the cameras, it doesn't exist just like in The Ring.
Yeah.
Oh.
Rad, man.
Now, what Cinemancy does, I'm just going to suggest this one, if you want to be the one to go into it, or it can just be that you found somebody's sloppy seconds. Your magic comes from the paradox of cliches and tropes within cinema that shouldn't exist. Everyone knows you cure amnesia with a blow to the head, right? Except you can't. That only causes more brain damage. But it's been used as a cheap writing technique in so many movies that it's become part of our collective knowledge. More importantly, people believe that in that amnesia cure. If only a few people believe that, no biggie. But so much of humanity has seen that cliche so many times, the illusion is more real than the truth. That's where Cinemancers come in. Not only do they see those ruts in the ground, they can get other people to agree that it was caused by a 1998 Nissan Sentra that wouldn't start when a monster was creeping up on it. Cinemancy uses magic that makes cliches real. After all, everyone knows about them already. Magic just gives the tropes the push needed to manifest in our world.
So
I just fell in love with this fucking game.
You're gonna be able to punch someone back to life with CPR.
Say all of that again, but slower.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a Cinemancer,
Hell
Shane?
yeah!
All right.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
That's gorgeous.
I want to know, this game's magic system involves stuff
I'm not the avatar, but that makes me the avatar of internet readers.
This is like the precursor to when we play that Kung Fu game.
Oh god. Which one? Feng Shui or Kung Fu Action Theater?
Kung Fu Action Theater.
Yeah.
Kung Fu Action Theater.
That's
All right.
amazing. And we are spiking like hell, aren't we?
Yeah, but that's also just because our levels are all squished together.
Okay.
Okay, so you had a weirdo cabin in the woods moment.
And then fought a Deadite.
So perhaps that made you wonder about it, and you started looking into it, and then you start, maybe you were you a movie buff to begin with, perhaps?
Yeah, why not? Let's go there.
Was this
I'll be a film student.
Was this all about shooting some first year film student project?
Like Marble Hornets asking.
like we're the kids from Grave Encounters 2 or something.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Okay. And this is going to be really funny about how you got into this carnival now.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
I'm sorry, I just got to bring up this reference. Yes, you got zombies, but this is Redneck Zombie Torture Family.
That's completely different.
Love it.
Totally different.
Now, they might be a redneck zombie torture family, but they're our redneck zombie torture family.
Yes.
Okay, so we gave you... So
One more thing I have to bring up about that movie. Who won the poll in that movie? Who won the pool? Who won the bet? Maintenance! My boys!
And the intern.
That's my job in the
Yes,
military, by the way. For those who don't know.
It was like, and Ted the intern.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we thinking, guys, for that? That's
pretty weird.
That's pretty.
You straight up
I
fought a
don't
monster.
know if anything can top that. It's like,
I mean, it would be the weirdest thing.
All right,
Shared
Well, if you
orange
want-
unnatural notches. That's definitely going before 4. 6 to 7. You now know and accept that there are vast, incomprehensible forces governing the universe. It strikes you as odd when people act as if they're in control of their lives. You know better. You guys want to go? You want to go?
fair.
You want to go for 6?
Sure.
Okay, that's putting you pretty far up there, but
So...
notch yourself up to 6
5
notches.
4, okay.
All right, then. Well, that's our adept in suitable adept fashion. So, Shane, when you get this school, I forgot to mention one thing, is that you all have an obsession on your sheet. It's either one of these skills, or you can put it into your identity. If you are an adept, your adepthood has to be your obsession. You are obsessed with it. You are not traditionally sane.
Well, he's a film student.
Yeah.
No, like other film students.
You've known all of us for at least a year now.
No. I mean, like this is like this. You are obsessed with this thing, and it makes you not normal.
Yeah, not the funny haha obsession, but like, no, like, actually, I have to do this. I can think of
This is
nothing
my
else.
life, man. Okay, Cam.
Absolutely.
Now, I guess since we talked about Shane's school as an adept, we should figure out what you are an avatar. What are you thinking for your character that
Strength
way?
and valor.
Okay, well, let's see what's in the book and see if we maybe have to create our own avatar for this.
Yeah.
The avatar of Charles
We're all
Atlas.
We're all
You started
somewhat
off as a
inspired by the
90-pound
tick. He's
weakling.
really inspired by the tick.
Let's see here.
No,
He's gonna spend like
You
the
are
first
not
part of
the-
the adventure running around screaming, "Destiny!"
Well, okay,
Ooh!
so here are some options in the book for you to play off, Cam.
gosh.
You've got the captain, who is the person officially in charge of things. The explorer, which is pretty self-explanatory. The firebrand, who are rabble-rousers. The fool goes where she shouldn't, says what she ought not to, and gets into what's forbidden. The guide, the person, you don't lead people in like the leader sense, you lead people in showing them the way. The hacker. William Gibson observed that the streets finds its own way, use for things. So you're not just hacking computers, you're life hacking.
Binder clips everywhere.
The messenger. The messenger carries news. The mother stands for comfort, safety, and love. The naked goddess. She's visible, present, close enough to touch, but you can't touch her. Her pedestal is too high and she's too perfect and you don't deserve to know her name. Okay, she is the woman everyone can have but you. The opportunist.
The goddess of the VIP room.
Yeah, exactly. Is always looking for an opening, a shot at the goose that lays the golden egg. The solid citizen. Sometimes an ordinary person, seemingly destined for mundane obscurity, is thrown by circumstance into the crucible of fire. The truck driver who selflessly runs to pull the victim of a road accident out of a flaming car. The grandfather on a fishing trip who rescues a drowning man, etc., etc. The self-appointed vigilante who shoots a teenager to defend the neighborhood may also be a solid citizen. In all cases, though, the solid citizen does what she does to express the rightness of her actions. She cares passionately about people, her people, and does whatever it takes to protect them, improve their lives, or lead them to take their rightful place. The star. The star. The survivor. Who perseveres. The true king represents the unity of the ruler, the people, and the land. The unsung champion. Think of people who make accomplishments possible but go unknown or are quickly forgotten. Line cooks, personal assistants, etc., etc. But all those people are the protagonists of their own stories. The unsung champion embodies this very identity as a person's central value. The world revolves around her because they keep it going, even if others don't see it. You could actually be that, Cam, and be like the Chief Rousty kind of thing.
Yeah, he's the roadie.
Like, that no one gives credit to. The warrior.
He could be Eddie Riggs.
Yeah. And then from there, we'd have to actually make you up one if you weren't interested in any of these.
Tough choices. I do like the guide. I like solid citizen, and I like
The unsung champion?
unsung champion.
Yeah.
I will say for a carnival, the
solid
unsung
choices.
champion probably works the best.
I'll
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
All right, you are an avatar of the unsung champion.
Nice.
What if you're the second half of a Georgia Magnet act? So you're the guy who looks strong and does strong things, but then you have like a 90-pound girl who does the like strongman tricks.
I love it.
Because it's a great comedy bit.
Okay. Like the necessary servant, the unsung champion's nature involves serving others. Unlike the necessary servant, who is an extension of another person's will, the unsung champion's power comes entirely from within, her own self-worth and competence. In fact, she's likely seen as as replaceable by her boss or master, despite the fact that you are unbelievably competent at your job.
Yeah, Will's suggestion was actually perfect. I'm gonna be like the other person in that act where like this small girl's actually doing the strongman stuff and she gets all the glory and credit, and I'm just kind of...
You're just making it all happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. How I got those powers, I'm not sure. I think...
Well, you did it by simply for years following that, like working into them.
Yeah.
People literally fall into becoming avatars.
Okay. Like, I imagine I was just some, like, farmhand chucking, like, hay bales and stuff.
Yeah, pretty strong dude.
Yeah, pretty strong dude, but not, like, amazing strong, and then...
Well, okay, so figuring out your exposure to the unnatural, it may be the revelation of your own abilities as an avatar. Maybe you were the headliner for a strongman act for a while until you hurt your back and had to step back. And it turned out that you were far better working behind someone. But...
Circus car derailed, and you got frustrated and punched it, and it went back on the rail.
Well...
I don't know what the top of the power creep is in this.
Unsung champion facing herself is like a fire that warms her and wards away doubt. She can flip-flop failed self-stress checks. So you're very sure of yourself. 51 to 70... your preternaturally knows when and where she's needed, or knows what she's about to be called to action. Can make an avatar unsung champion check to glean insight into before arriving or being called. 71 to 90. The world respects the unsung champion's force of will and fights to protect its precious cog from harm. If someone attacks her physically or psychologically, she can use her avatar unsung champion identity to defend instead of dodge. This isn't the avatar defending yourself, but the world interposing or interrupting the assault. So this doesn't make you supernaturally strong. What it does play upon is your belief in your competence in your role. That maybe you're not just the second part of this strongman act, you're the second part of a lot of acts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you understand that you are the one of the true forces behind the carnival, even if everybody else doesn't. And yet somehow you're okay with that.
Yeah. Like, I'm full of myself, but I'm not, like...
Well, you're sure of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a difference between being sure of yourself and full of yourself.
You're the kind of person... He's the kind of person where we're like, oh, God, we forgot to file our taxes in this state. And then he's like, oh, no, don't worry, I got this.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And it's the one guy in the back of the room who's just like, I already filed everyone's taxes. Oh, great, Ernie. You do you.
Thanks, dude. You're the best.
No, literally, and it's just like, you do you. You're the best.
Yeah.
Everyone else goes back to ignoring him.
Yeah.
They will not remember his name until next tax season, when
like
the same thing happens again.
Unsung force that just like will not let me be the star of the show.
Yeah.
Just,
At best, you get a high five.
Okay. Here's a question then. Is this perhaps something you originally saw as some kind of curse?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I definitely...
Did you piss off someone who billed themselves as an old gypsy woman in some previous carnival?
Or like when I was a newbie to this carnival. Or
You
whatever.
realize if you do that, I'm going to have to start calling him the spleen.
I like went to this one carnival and really like pissed off this gypsy who did something.
Now, I will note that gypsy itself is a racial slur, and I'm using the term, it is very specifically in reference to that kind of carnival act.
Not too specific sideshow gimmick.
Yeah.
She's
probably from like Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
100%.
Like most names for carnival stuff is not okay.
Well, and a lot of them are from Florida because that's where they tend to overwinter.
Yeah.
But yeah, you pissed someone off who somehow actually laid a curse on you.
Yeah.
And that got in your way for a while until you literally just sort of accepted it almost. And that played into this avatar role.
Yeah.
I'm thinking my guy was like stupid enough that like when She's doing like a tarot reading or something. I accidentally like thought I was supposed to take one of the cards or something.
Oh, on stage in front of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So when you were new and just barely not a rube, but still fairly rubish.
Yeah. The messed up act.
And she gave you a rube's curse.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think I took like the fool card or something.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. You pointed out, it's like, hey, as all the cards are shoving, these are all the death card.
Oh, yeah.
And, she played it off at first, and, she was enough of a showman that the crowd laughed, and she did some sleight of hand, and then got the deck that she'd palmed back in. And
Or alternatively, she just magicked them to be a regular deck again.
no, probably not.
I
Unless
think
she was
she
an adept,
definitely
but-
like disappeared after this.
Yeah, it disappeared kind of mysteriously, and maybe she's out to get you.
Yeah.
Neat.
Pissed off.
I've just constantly got the Spleen's origin story going in my head now.
I don't know that reference. Is that...
Did you ever see Mystery Men?
Okay.
A long time ago.
That's seeming actually almost normal by comparison to these guys.
Oh, absolutely.
What are you thinking? Maybe Unnatural 3?
Yeah, a 3 kind of seems was what I was thinking on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so notch yourself up to Unnatural 3 then,
Because
Cam.
it's the sort of thing you can be like, this is super
no.
weird, but I can wave it off.
Yeah,
Where am I marking it down?
Unnatural.
Unnatural.
So you're putting in 2 more.
2 more. Awesome. Oh, I can't even see that one.
I love how I've got like the most unnatural notches just for being a huge film nerd.
You're a wizard,
You're a
Shay.
film wizard.
You are a legit wizard. Hoodwinks the forces of reality. Wizard.
Mako level wizard.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Have you guys heard of Rob Paulson's new show, Talking Tunes?
No, but
That's been
a long.
it's been a while.
Yeah, it's he recently did this thing with Nancy Cartwright where they do like the scene from Harry Potter where Harry meets Hagrid for the first time.
yeah.
And explains that he's a wizard and all this stuff. Except Rob Paulson does it as Dr. Scratch and Sniff from Animaniacs.
Love it.
And Nancy Cartwright, of course, plays Harry Potter as Bart Simpson.
Love it.
Or either Bart Simpson as Harry Potter.
Okay, so next up
brilliant.
is we're going to add elements and connections. So
Okay.
I'm thinking we're just going to go with the ones that you've said in here. So
Yeah.
Bragg, you're going to go. You're going to create a card for the ossified man.
Yep.
He ain't dead yet, apparently.
No, he's being treated.
Mesmero. Do you want to perhaps the mysterious cinemancer that created that film in the first place?
Okay.
Oh, right
If you're
at the
cool
end
with
of the
that?
battle,
Yeah.
just before it turns off, it says directed by, and then a name, and then
Yeah.
it lights on
Yes.
fire.
What is his name?
Oh. What would be his name?
His name. Actually, his legal name could just be Alan Smithy, but
Yeah, that's funny.
Let's do that!
okay, all right.
That's perfect.
Or like speedweed or something.
love that.
That's weird.
No,
Alan
Alan
Smithy,
Smithy
it's,
is specifically the term that film people put into a movie when they don't want to attach their actual name to a project.
Yeah, it started with writers. Now I
Look for
think
the
a bunch
movie
of people do
Burn,
it.
Hollywood Burn. It's specifically about, it's Eric Idle playing a director literally named Alan Smithy. He makes a movie so crappy, but can't change the name on it because Alan Smithy is the pseudonym, the only pseudonym that Hollywood will allow, so it basically drives him insane.
Did that start with that Trumbo guy or?
Oh, I don't remember.
I can't remember. We'll look it up later.
Yeah.
Incidentally, funny story, my dice have rolled 44 without me touching them.
Neat.
And then for Chuck over here, I guess we're going to go with the old quote unquote gypsy woman, and we're going to need to give her a name, Cam, and it should be probably the most mundane name possible.
Yeah.
Ooh, I just thought of one. It's actually not super mundane, but it's also unbelievably mundane. Florida Sykes.
I was gonna just name like an author from one of those like occult things like
I was
Green
afraid you were
Virtue
gonna be-
or something.
Sure, name it.
Okay.
Cam, who works in a bookstore, name
I was
it.
Trying to think of a stage name.
No,
for this
Doreen
stupid guy.
Virtue works great for right now.
Yeah.
To be honest, Cam, you might not actually have a stage name because they just kind of ignore you.
Yeah.
They're like,
Or
the
And
changes
here's
like
Chuck.
every time because
Yeah.
it doesn't stick.
no, because you're in multiple acts. So
Yeah.
You're the roadie, you're the muscle.
Little strong Sally and her able-bodied assistant. Sir, what is your name? Chuck. Chuck.
Yep.
And immediately everyone forgets about you.
Yeah.
All right, then. Describe your obsession. Shane, yours is already locked down. Is cinemancy.
Yep.
I believe there should be an obsession spot on your sheet somewhere.
I'm not seeing it.
Did these silly goofballs decide not to make an obsession?
That's so sad.
Apparently not. Right then. So you're
Write it somewhere.
Well, figure out one of these skills that you would like to obsess over.
Yeah. But wouldn't that be like my adept school? Or?
No, that's where you obsess over automatically as an adept.
Okay.
But it's for these two.
Okay, and so we can just circle one of
yeah.
the skills, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what do I obsess over?
Now I'm gonna check. This is the one part I've never used this step process because this is new to the game in this edition. Obsession 9 and 15. So this is a very different way of creating a character than previous editions of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And as such, 9. Obsession. Obsession or boundless. Yep. You can put it on a skill or you can put it on an identity.
Interesting. We don't have identities yet.
Well, we're going to figure... Okay, this should be flip-flopped. It should be add an identity, then take an obsession.
Okay.
So we're going to go first with you guys figuring out an identity.
What do we got?
Well, you can make one, or you can take one from the book.
Okay.
Just need an example.
Well, the first one that Shane's going to take is I'm a cinemancer.
Yep.
So write that in for your first identity.
I can say.
Okay, identities are stuff like acrobat, blues musician, caring, electrician, gym rat, jiu-jitsu instructor, lifeguard, your religion, receptionist, trucker, weather forecaster, x-ray technician, yard bird. So, or you could figure one out for yourself.
Is born and raised...
Oh, actually, Cam, you have to take your avatar's thing.
Oh, yeah, what is that?
I'm an avatar of the Unsung Champion.
And, okay, I'm a...
So you're going to write that, literally write that down there.
Anything on there very close to old school Carney? Or
you could just write down, I'm an old school Carney.
Gonna do it.
And then we're going to figure out, and yours is going to be the really interesting one, Will, because you're going to get to figure out what skill you get to flip with,
Nice.
and your features. Incidentally, Shane and Cam, you do not get, so of course I can on your, on there. So you're just going to,
Cross it off.
well, yeah, you'd actually write in there and then cross off, but that's fine. Your features, however, are automatic. You both get cast rituals as your first feature,
Okay.
and use gutter magic as your second.
Okay. Cast
Gutter magic.
Cast rituals, use gutter magic.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then when it says substitute for an ability, you're just going to put NA. Rituals are big shit. Gutter magic is gutter magic.
Yeah. I opened the cupboard from across the room.
No, it's not even that.
Oh,
it's
not even?
Like,
altering probability through like low-level ritual shit.
I actually rolled all 18s on this character.
Magic is spelt with a C and a K.
Yeah.
And then I'm an old school Carney, so of course I can. What are you thinking? Do you want me to give you some examples?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind for me is, of course I can fool people. Of course I can hoodwink people.
Sure, do it.
ooh.
So of course I can hoodwink people.
Well, I like the idea.
No. Of course I can hoodwink rubes.
Yes. Because if you're in the know, I have no power over you.
Yes. So stuff like I'm an acrobat. Of course I can tumble, squeeze into small spaces, slip out of bonds and handcuffs.
Yeah.
So add another description or two.
Hoodwink rubes,
Set up an act.
set up an act, do sleight of hand.
Sure, just take
Yeah.
those three.
So you're going for kind of like the carny everyman.
Well, I think he's. This
Or
is the.
he wants to
I think
do
like his
everything.
dad ran the carnival. He was
Okay.
born in it. He
Cool.
like.
Kind of the old.
He's
kind
not
of the
alert-
old school carny, like step right up, step right up.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now he does a lot of
Like,
talking
Yeah,
stuff.
but this seems to those three things then
Yeah.
tend to cover would seem to cover the basic skills of being a carny.
Yeah.
You have some basic sleight of hand, so you can sub in for a couple different acts.
Yeah, like
you
I
know
can
how
do
to
an okay magic show.
You know how to set up a ride, so you
Yeah.
can help with the rousties out.
Yep.
And you know how to hoodwink a rube. Then you're going to pick a skill that you can substitute this identity for.
Okay. Interesting. Immediately, lie and secrecy come to mind because you need to be able to do both. But I think lies are more important than secrecy.
Okay, then put in lie. Substitutes for lie. Then we're going to figure out your features. And I actually wrote them all out on this cheat sheet to make life easy for all of us. I wrote a 4-page cheat sheet for this game, folks. And to new GMs out there, that's actually part of my advice to you. Write a cheat sheet for the rules. It'll help teach you the rules of the game, and it'll give you something easy to hand to your players.
Also, being able to synthesize it in a small form is going to give you a better handle on the rules, too.
Indeed.
That's what I like about those customizable GM screens, though, is you can just kind of put cheat sheets all over them.
Super
so.
rad.
Okay, so identity features. Cast rituals, coerces a meter, evaluate a meter, medical, provide firearms attacks, provides wound threshold, provides initiative, resist shock to a meter, therapeutic, unique, and use gutter magic.
Everyone should know how to use gutter magic.
I don't think being a carny is really going to cover magic.
No, I don't think I'm going to get anything magical. I like something like an attack thing, like doing a knife throwing act or a shooting act, maybe, but I doubt it.
Do you want to do maybe resist shock to a meter?
I was going to say resist shock to a meter makes sense because you have to stay composed.
Which do you think that would be? Would that be unnatural? Would that be helplessness?
I think helplessness would be the normal way it would go, because
Or alternatively, isolation, because you're outside of regular society.
yeah, let's go isolation.
So you're going to write down for your first feature,
Resist isolation.
resist shock to isolation. So you're going to roll your identity of old school carny rather than your connect.
Beautiful.
All right, then. Now figure out your second feature.
Second feature. Can you give me some of the options again?
Sure. Evaluate a meter. Medical, provide firearms attacks. Provides wound threshold, which means you're tougher than the average bear. Provides initiative, you go first. Resist shock to a meter, which you already took. Therapeutic, which means you can help repair damage to shock gauges.
Maybe.
Unique skill, which would be things like I'm a helicopter pilot, so of course I know.
can helicopter,
So you
yeah.
use unique too. You have access to a helicopter kind of thing.
Oh, I can have unique. I have access to carnival stuff.
Sure.
You have the utility.
Right? Like, I have a whip. I have unicycles.
Sure.
I
Then,
do have pistols.
Then write
we can
down
do things with.
has access to carnival stuff.
Yes, I do have a license for this chimpanzee. Thank you very much.
Oh my god. My features include a chimp license.
You never know. Yeah.
I literally have a license to thrill.
Wow. All right then. Anything popping out to you guys, to you two, as obsessions yet?
I mean, I think until he saw the ossified man walking around, he was obsessed with being an old school carny. That surprise could either drive him more to look into like classic sideshow and carnival acts.
Are you obsessed
to look
with
for the
secrecy?
magic,
Or
he's obsessed with secrets and knowledge. That was the other
Well,
way.
you got either knowledge or secrecy.
Well, those are sort of the three. That's the little triangle of options I was
And I
thinking.
think mine is a little bit obvious. Like, I want to be noticed. So
You want to go with connect or status?
status.
Okay, so that's going to be interesting that's going to war directly with your avatar identity.
Oh, okay.
So that actually could create some great interest for you.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
circle
that's
status.
Cool internal tension. And you know what?
Interesting.
I just realized I should be obsessed with noticing things.
Perfect.
I need to find those. I gotta figure it out.
Perfect. Okay.
Is he full of shit or is he actually magic?
Excellent.
So once again, my obsession doesn't like follow the same kind of rule as theirs. My obsession is cinemancy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you will always flip-flop your magic rolls.
All right.
Step 2, get plugged in. Relate to a PC. Who do you want to be related to? Who do you want to relate to as a relationship in this group? And which relationship do you want to choose for them?
Interesting.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting for you guys to...
None of these are quite shit-canned enough to fit in with Cam's theme for me. Because he's super competent, and we know it, so you're not my responsibility.
Yeah.
And I'm not grooming you to take my place, because whatever, it's Chuck, who cares? Favorite might work in the sense of, like, I know I can depend on you. You're a rock.
But you kind of forget his name sometimes.
But what's that guy? Oh, yeah, remember we picked him up in Tallahassee?
It will definitely have to be like a mentor or a guru.
Oh, I'd almost say guru would probably be right.
He shows you the biz.
Yeah, the guru helps you find the big picture. The mentor specifically helps you with learning things.
Cool.
These can also be organizations as well, but within this context, it's going to be one person.
Okay. So I would put down Alan Smithy as my mentor, maybe? Or
is he your mentor, or is he some kind of rival? Right now we're picking someone in this group for who you're related to. So.
Okay.
Will and Cam are right across from each other.
Yeah,
so
my name is Steve.
Or right Bragg.
You can just put Bragg.
Bragg.
So it's now up to Shane to figure out how you relate to these guys.
Well, because we're all on a road trip together, so there's definitely a connection.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So presumably our previous
I'm kind of
gig
disappointed.
folded.
I will say that there's no negative relationship possible. But I mean, you can always burn down one of these relationships over time as you find out your favorite isn't so much your favorite. Or
And some of them you could take in a negative sense, like, you know, if I'm bullying somebody, they can be my favorite victim.
Yeah.
Or
It's
like
true.
responsibilities
Well,
can often suck.
yeah.
But they guru and mentor and protege are hard.
I mean, you could take responsibility, Shane, if Bragg over here is kind of like the head of your little troop.
Yeah.
As you're working for him, you could pick one of these guys as like just your favorite dude, kind of.
I think Bragg would end up being my favorite.
Okay, you want to pick Bragg as your favorite. Write that down then.
Sweet dude.
And then that is going to link up to the resulting stat. You're going to hold off on that, though, because we're also going to change some of your meters as time goes on. Add a second identity.
Okay. What would that be for the avatar?
Well, that might be part of your act. You know, I'm a carnival rousty kind of thing, or I'm carnival folk.
Yeah.
You can have at minimum 2 and up to 4.
Yeah. You know, I think Bragg wants to be like his original passion is he wanted to be a musician.
Okay, what kind of musician?
I think he wanted to be the front man for a rock band.
Okay,
But it just never went through, and his parents were against it, and they traveled too much.
I'm a wannabe rocker.
I'm a wannabe rocker.
So of course I can. What does that get you access to? Of course I can.
Of course I can.
Play the guitar badly.
Play the guitar okay.
Play the guitar okay. Specify okay.
Oh,
in there.
definitely.
I think passively, if you wouldn't leave the bar, but you also wouldn't go to the bar for that music.
Of course I can book a gig.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in there that might?
What else is in there? Of course I can. Please a crowd.
Of course I can drink all night.
Yeah, of course I can handle my liquor.
Handle your liquor. Perfect. And what skill is this going to substitute out for?
Status comes to mind. What's status do again?
Status is your standing with other people. It's people thinking that you're important or at least worth their time.
That kind of makes sense for somebody who wanted to be a rock star.
Okay.
Or what's connect? Again, that's connecting with other people?
Yeah, that's like your persuasion.
Connect.
Okay, go with substitutes out for connect then.
Yeah.
Your features, you can do additional substitutions, apparently.
Oh, neat.
I forgot to write that down. Okay,
Well,
then.
Now we know.
Would you like to have your first feature be substitutes out for status?
You know what? Sure. Yeah, he had there's a brief period where like he went to college and he had like what he considered a pretty successful rock band during that time. Because that was like the only 4-year period of his life he had a permanent address.
Okay, maybe unique. I know how to get access to like drugs or something like that, or
Yeah, that makes sense for your basic rocker.
you made.
But I think this guy's more like a liquor and cigs kind of guy.
Okay, you could pick up maybe medical that you picked up some basic first aid though, and handling other people's.
Oh yeah, cleaning up the mosh pit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like we're slowly changing this from a carnival troupe to a garage band.
Well, this is just in his heart.
All right, then
Yeah.
write down medical.
Yeah.
Shane. Okay, what are you thinking?
Let's see here. Well, kind of want to go back to like the film student thing. Yeah, I figure I feel like this would be the moment. It's almost like the moment in Doctor Strange where like the Ancient One like shows him the multiverse for the first time, and he like hits the floor and he just looks up at her and he's like, "Teach me."
Okay, so are you a failed film student though, or are you a film school dropout?
Classic.
Is this why you're with a carnival now?
Yeah, well, I'm imagining you're our AV guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
You're in the booth running the speakers and projection.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go with that. So it'll be like a film school dropout.
All right, I'm a film school dropout. Write it.
Film school dropout.
Film school dropout. Dropout! Not a good lighting engineer. Film school dropout. Dropout, but I'm the only one that's here.
Coming to you on iTunes.
Derek the Bard's worst ZZ Top songs ever. I'm sorry, we're in Canada. Are they ZZ Top?
That's right.
Doesn't sound right. Okay, Shane. So of course I can. What? Handle a camera, handle a lighting rig.
Yeah, handle AV equipment.
Yeah, that's fair.
Write it down.
I can go as far as like just basic electronic kind of.
Do basic special effects.
Yeah.
Right?
Subsist off a diet of ramen.
Yeah. I'm immune to poor nutrition.
And coffee.
Hey, it might mean that you could actually sub this out for like isolation.
I will literally put all this down.
Yeah, man.
Do it. Yeah.
Survive on coffee and ramen.
Yeah.
All good stuff.
If you throw an orange in there, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we just got to figure out what skill this subs out for. My suggestion is knowledge.
This one time I was going to make a short about that. Yeah. Yeah, totally makes sense for knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you feel, man?
So, none of that works for me, so...
I mean, your knowledge is actually pretty good given what your isolation is right now, but your isolation might get more hardened notches in it.
Yeah.
This all may change.
I can see that happening, so...
All right, so do you want to do substitutes out for
Yeah,
knowledge?
so substitutes for knowledge.
Cool.
Just like, he hasn't left the sound booth in ages.
Oh, man. Sound booths.
We wish that we had a sound booth right now.
That's true. This one time in college, I accidentally got high on bleach fumes and locked myself in a sound bunker for a project. It was terrible.
Will, you lead a
Like
very
bust-
Interesting life.
One of these times you'll bust into the soundstage just to make sure I'm not dead. I'll spring up naked. It's like, I am Todd, Master of the Wake World!
Oh my god, you do fit in perfectly with a carnival. All right, then, let's figure out some features to this, then.
Yeah, man.
One of my favorite shows ever is Code Monkeys.
Let's go with... I'm going to take one from actually the electrician's identity and say build and repair electrical devices.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I put that under feature?
Yeah, that's one of your features. It's a unique feature.
That's a really good one.
Like the lighting goes out and he has to like rig it so that it goes from somewhere else.
The Jensen is busted, so he's got to do repairs on that. And...
Then I might suggest, Shane, would actually work well here? Actually, you know what? Resist shock to a meter. If you could resist shock to violence, just because you've seen it so often on watching all the movies and shit.
Okay, resist shock.
You're like,
to violence.
Tokyo Gore Police. That's just
Watch
I
too
keep that
many
in the background.
films, I think.
Wow, that got dark.
Oh,
Cam, let's give you another identity then.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking it might just be I'm a carnival roustabout.
Yeah.
I absolutely.
Write her down then, man.
Yeah, resist shock to violence. Battle Royale is so overrated.
No, it's not.
It's like you see someone get shot down in front of you, you're like, huh? Needs more squibs.
Yeah.
Not bleeding sufficiently.
Okay,
So of course I can. What are you thinking? I'm a carnival roustabout, so of course I can set up rides, drive a
forklift.
Yeah, definitely a lot of just like manual labor stuff. So I can definitely drive.
You can probably
forklifts.
drive a bigger vehicle.
Yeah,
I can drive. I can drive heavy machinery.
Yeah, I can drive heavy machinery backwards.
Right. Yeah. So of course I can drive heavy machinery.
And haul boxes around.
Do manual labor.
Yeah.
typical roadie stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, typical roadie stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coil a cable like it's nobody's business.
Yeah. So substitutes out for what ability? I'm probably going to suggest fitness.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you're going to write that. Just write that. Substitutes out for fitness. Then we're going to figure out your unique stuff. Going to suggest resist shock to maybe isolation, which is just going to help you so much the fuck out, though, as a
one-of-a-kind avatar.
yeah.
And feature.
I was going to suggest maybe provides wound threshold.
Oh yeah, he's just
Because if you take it above 50, you'll your wound threshold will go above the standard 50.
Yeah.
Which would actually be quite easy because you get 120 points to spend between your identities.
Awesome.
Perfect. All right, then. We have...
Tank Man.
Well, you're certainly tougher than these idiots. Which, I mean, is definitely a good thing.
Although you should see my blockhead act.
Steven's not an idiot. It's cool.
All right.
Thanks.
Connect.
Charlie, right?
Next step, link two elements that are not already related to each other. So you're already each related to one element here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to write down... I'm going to add my own element. I'm going to add in Benton Brothers.
Yes.
Which is the town which is the carnival act that you are trying to sign with.
Yeah.
That is not yet connected to anyone. So, you don't have to link yourselves to any of these. You can link them together.
Okay.
So you've got these, the ossified man, the mysterious cinemancer, named Alan Smithy. We're just going to assume that's his actual name for right now.
Until we know better.
He might just literally have changed every record of him ever to say Alan Smithy.
Love it.
Okay. I mean, the ostracized man and the old woman kind of make sense. They're probably in the same carnival.
Yeah.
Did they come from the same carnival originally?
Yeah.
Is there some weirdo carnival that...
there's the actual magic sideshow.
Yeah.
that exists mysteriously off somewhere? Okay.
Oh, yeah, and we've looked it up and
Okay.
it doesn't exist.
And it only, they don't travel because they just appear in those.
All right, then.
It's just-
Yeah.
Will,
there's-
do you want to relate one of these elements to another player or one of these elements to one of these elements?
Oh, I think the ossified man and the old gypsy woman are related to the Benton Bros.
Oh, you can only link one of them, though.
Oh, okay. Then I'm going to have to put Doreen Virtue. She works for the Benton Bros.
Okay, that's where she's at right now. Interesting. Or she's somehow connected to
She's
them.
somehow connected to.
Shane.
I'm going to say that Alan Smithy is connected to the ossified man.
Ooh, interesting.
Fascinating.
All right, then.
I don't know about this, guys.
Zoink scope! I do want to play a Scooby-Doo type game at some point with you guys, though.
Bubblegum shoe.
All right, then. You're now going to pick a second relationship for each of you.
Okay.
And you are going to figure out Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, when I was asking you about your obsessions earlier, you're supposed to actually just define literally what you were obsessed with.
Oh.
Oops. So anywho, we'll do this the last element of this. We're going to specify your next relationship. This can be to an NPC.
Okay. I think that there is a performer or administrator or somebody who's somehow involved with the Benton Bros that was my mentor. I think I learned something important from them.
Okay, so,
So, like, I don't know, Bruce Benton?
Sure. Before, he and his... Now, you know this. They're not actually the Benton brothers.
No, of course not. That's his name.
It's literally two guys. They're both last name is Benton, but they're not actually related.
Yeah, I love it.
What's a coinky thing?
It's like one of them is like this super white guy from like Poughkeepsie.
Oh, yeah.
And the other one is
Like a black dude from Atlanta?
or even like somewhere like Zanzibar or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Like they're like literally to make them as completely unrelated as possible, but they're just like, we're both named Benton. We're the Benton brothers now.
I love it.
Oh, man.
All right then, Shane. You could select. I mean, we've established that Alan Smithy is probably not your mentor, and you were in fact seeking him out. But
maybe he's left a trail of mystical clues.
maybe he has left a trail of mystical clues around for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Yeah.
Okay, maybe he's your guru then.
Yeah, you spend late nights scouring the internet for the breadcrumb show. Or breadcrumbs, yeah.
Literally, it's just called breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
You have to search for it 27 times on YouTube.
Exactly.
And then look for it on Google with safe search off to find it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work until you do that precise pattern.
Yeah. And it appears as like just like this weird like Canadian sitcom from the 70s.
No. It's an art. It's like the stereotypical
yes.
art film as described in How I Met Your Mother for like the stereotypical punk song. It's like there's going to be an old man with no shirt on. Something's going to be written on a chalkboard.
This is still a better concept than movie 43. We can all agree with that, at least.
Okay, Cam.
Okay, so I'm thinking that the Benton Brothers Carnival rented the farm I was working on's lot.
Yep.
And I wasn't interested in before, but then I met up with like one of the like roadies from it, and he said I should join it, and that's why I'm kind of...
So you were part of Benton Brothers at one point and then broke with them?
No, I got interested in them when they came to...
Okay, but how is that going to relate to a specific relationship? Are they...
Protege? No.
No,
That's
that's the opposite.
Yeah.
Maybe he's your favorite.
Yeah.
Maybe the Benton Brothers Carnival is your favorite.
Yeah.
Okay,
And you've just kind of been settling till now.
Yeah, every other place you've worked has been like, but it's not as cool. Their lions were bigger, you know?
Everything about... You built this amazing image of them up in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, then. And that takes us to the end of Step 2. Step 3. Notch 2 more meters. Each player places up to 10 hardened notches across 2 of their character's meters. Remind the players that, though every hardened notch increases their ability to do down and dirty stuff, it also decreases their ability to do wholesome, socially approved stuff. Also make sure that they know they do not have to spend all 10 points. So each of you is going to pick 2 meters, and you're going to shove up to 10 points between them.
Cool.
I kind of like where my stuff is.
I almost think you should take at least a little bit of isolation.
Yeah, I was thinking because like he's been pursuing things, so that should go up a little. I also kind of want to have him be a better liar.
So do you want to take more marks in self as you become slightly less sure of who you are?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So maybe can I take 2 in isolation?
Yep.
And I'm going to take 3 in self.
The heck you can.
Yeah.
Would you like me to tell you what that says about you now as a person?
Yes, because I got to roleplay this dude.
This douche.
Maybe I think that Bragg's a upstanding dude. Like, you mean he's obviously a con man and he cheats at cards, but he's an upstanding dude.
How much isolation you got now? 3?
Tree. Yep.
I feel that would be a good name for a book. This dude, this douche.
There are no really obvious signs of your experience. Perhaps you're a little standoffish or curt.
That makes sense. Yep, I can do that.
Self. Hardened self. You're up to 4.
4.
Even when you're telling the truth, people often think you're lying unless you make a particular effort to act natural.
Perfect, because he is a carny, and he looks like a carny, and sounds like a carny. Why would you believe him?
I do.
This dude, this douche, a film by Alan Smithy.
Yay! Oh, you definitely have been making a documentary about stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those rock documentaries.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you are.
Oh, maybe
That's like where you're literally recording every trope and cliche to ever appear in an Alan Smithy film.
Yeah.
Oh, and maybe that's how we got kicked out of our last carnival.
Well,
we were all sitting around having drinks over cards. You recorded us talking about something we shouldn't have.
And you definitely wanted to record a road trip up there too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You're dumping all this shit onto your laptop the whole time. All right, then. Shane. Gauges.
Okay.
I'm definitely thinking you may want to take some in self and maybe helplessness.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Up to 10, you don't have to take all 10.
I'm thinking 3 in self, 3 in helplessness.
Sure.
Yeah.
You've already heard this. Self. There are few external signs of your interior struggle. People may sometimes find you to be a little brittle or phony. Helplessness. You don't have any major behavior or attitude shifts yet, just minor things. You tend to be pessimistic and fatalistic, perhaps.
Sounds about right.
All right, then. Cam.
Just an existential film student.
I may suggest you may want to take a couple hits to yourself.
That's honestly what I was thinking. So what would that...
Well, let's see here. Depends on how... yeah.
Because my...
How much are you are you subsuming yourself into being this avatar?
So many.
Okay, do you want to go... well, if you went to 6, you've lost a sense of connection to those who were previously close to you.
Absolutely.
You can predict the actions of friends, relatives, or lovers, but you no longer know exactly what you feel about them.
Yeah.
Go to 6, then.
Rad.
Man, you guys are all taking the hits in your self-tracks. Nobody's taking it in violence.
Wow, what would violence bring me up to if I did it?
Well, what do you want to do? How much... You spent 5. You could spend 5 more points if you wanted to, or you could spend less.
What's the higher end of violence?
It makes you better at
6.
struggle.
Violence is a common feature of your mental landscape. Unlike less hardened people, you show little reaction at all when it is discussed or depicted in film.
No, I don't think my character likes violence that much. So.
Well, it's also interesting to note that Shane is pretty blasé to it as well, but that's because he has an identity based around avoiding it.
Yeah, or around, I'm subsumed in it and it doesn't hurt me.
Yeah. Which also places the fact that he thinks he's really good at avoiding it, but maybe when it's right in front of him, it may affect him more than he thinks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put maybe 2 in violence. Actually.
All right.
Or up to 3.
Yeah, you're used to kind of a harder life.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've had your share of fisticuffs.
Yeah, that works. That's a very good place to go there. The annoying part of this is because it's between 2 books, I have to keep flipping between 2 of them.
Yeah, flippity
And
floppity.
I love this game, and I love the way the books are laid out, but I think this is my one major gripe about it. Mm-hmm. Is not having the character creation process in the first book.
Or at least not all in the same place.
Notch 2 meters, linked to a PC. Each player draws a line between their PC and another and labels the connection. It's often a good idea to link up with someone other than the PC with whom they defined a relationship in the last step, unless they really need to clarify the bond. Note that this doesn't have to be a relationship, but it could be. I
think Bragg and Jake... because Because, like, you already call the shots for the AV,
Right.
and Bragg's like, yeah, no, you could definitely run a 10-1. Like, you could get the people together, you know how to make the contacts, and so...
Okay, so...
I think he's kind of my right-hand man.
Okay. Okay, Shane.
Let me think here. That was kind of what I was thinking for Bragg, so we got that covered.
Does Chuck maybe do a lot of your hauling and shit over here then?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
say
you
that.
think that he's dependable.
Yeah.
And Chuck, that may also give you a reason to be in a cabal with these two, is they're the only two who really actually seem to notice you and give a shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the fact that you do have people who notice your effort and comment upon it is technically holding back your progression as an avatar.
Every thumbs
That's
up,
tricky.
every thumbs up your way sent from the booth diminishes your power.
Okay, and then Chuck, who are you linking yourself to?
I definitely have to link to Jake in some way, in the way that, like, even if Jake does all these things in, like, the booth and all that, it never works out. So I'm like, what the...
Constant frustration.
Yeah.
Jake has all these high visions of the carnival, but you've got all that experience under your belt. You're stoic, you're dependable, and you're just plodding along going, that ain't gonna work.
Oh, also, sidebar, man, if you've ever worked with friggin'
So
video
I'm
projection in a
thinking,
show,
like, almost
that's
like
pretty
a-
accurate.
Yeah, like, protege thing.
Well, no, this isn't your relationships.
Oh, okay.
This is actually just linking how...
Okay.
It's creating another social map within what's supposed to be a
big old
board
cork
that we
board.
don't have, a cork board that we don't have.
What string is this?
But it's that Jake finds Chuck to be dependable, but Chuck is often frustrated by Jake's high-minded, highfalutin
Always asking
grandstanding.
you the impossible.
Oh my god, have you ever watched Camp?
No,
No.
never even
Rooster
heard of it.
Teeth? I'll have to introduce you guys to that later. There's a character on it called the Quartermaster that kind of reminds me of what Cam's doing with Chuck right now.
The theme of this
Pork
session has been watch this show.
No
Like,
kidding.
I imagine just like every time you try and put the spotlight on me, it just does not happen.
Yeah.
The spotlight just it doesn't work. There's always a mechanical malfunction.
Yeah, or you're just never quite in your spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's always in his spot. The
That's
light
true.
is just never on him.
Yeah.
So we're going to go around and determine passions. We're going to start with rage, then your noble, then your fear. Your fear is going to be tied specifically to one of your gauges.
Okay.
And we're almost at the end of the character creation process.
What pisses me off? I think I hate when people give up the game.
Write it down then. Rage.
I hate spoilers.
People who give up the game. Shane, what's your rage? Or in the famous tagline to Werewolf the Apocalypse, how will you rage?
See, I keep coming up with all these joke answers like Michael Bay, Zack Snyder, that kind of shit.
Well, it might well
But I'm
be.
kinda trying
Do you
I'm trying to expand that a little bit so it's a little more...
hack cinema? No, not even hack cinema. It's
Yeah.
successful hack cinema. Does it piss you? What pisses you off about
Well, not
Michael
even
Bay
that,
and
'cause,
Zack
like,
Snyder?
Not even that. It's just like people keep giving these terrible directors and writers money when there are so many better ones out there. So
Undeserved accolades.
there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe that's also why you're so pissed off at this Alan Smithy fuck.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks he's the best, but he's a complete jackass.
Yeah.
I've seen better. The lighting in that was just so subpar. For me, it's definitely Chuck is a perfectionist. Like that is. So just when things do not go just the right way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, yeah, he's hyper competent and
Yeah.
expects it of everyone.
Do you want to just call it like incompetence or maybe even like purposeful incompetence. It's
Purposeful.
like what really because you care so much, it pisses you off when people just don't give a damn and they like drag their feet and do a half-assed job.
Like purposeful ignorance,
Yeah.
almost.
No, more incompetence. Not them not purposely
they
knowing
don't
something,
even
but
try. They don't exert
yeah,
themselves.
exactly. There we go.
Yeah.
I like this. Now your noble ideal, your high-minded ideal of yourself.
And this is of yourself.
Yeah.
I think Bragg. I think he likes to give people a thrill. He likes to inspire people. He wants to give people a sense of mystery, right? Like, I'm trying to think how to
Give the
phrase this.
rubes a sense of mystery.
Give him the old razzle dazzle.
Write it down. Give them the
Yeah.
old razzle dazzle.
Razzle-dazzle. And I'm just the cellophane man.
You're totally the cellophane man.
Shane.
In that same vein, actually, Jake wants to entertain, but he also wants to enlighten people. He wants to uplift people with his work.
Reveal truth. man.
Uplift people with my work. Then
Yes.
cool.
Great.
And then Cam.
Anything is possible if you put your mind to it. So like, yeah, I just like, again with the like whole incompetence thing, just
Anything is possible if you put
Yeah.
your mind to it. Shane,
By the
pass
way-
him the pen.
By the way, we are dealing with a film school dropout, so I specifically put uplift with my art.
But no, that's important when you use that specific.
It very
The
much
wording you
is.
use in this game is very specific.
Okay.
Incidentally, one of the examples in the book for identity is you could be the greatest fighter in the world, but you only have it at 15% because it says more about your bravado and self-image than it does your actual fighting skills. As you go around doing these like perfect, just like visually perfect, but completely like weak ass and useless moves.
Yeah.
And last but not least, your fear. And you are going to note at the end of that which of these gauges it activates, because when you are confronted with your fear and when you gain that passion flip-flop, when you flip-flop your dice because of your passion, which you can do once per session, you're going to have to make a check. Or more to the point, when you are confronted by that check is when your fear activates.
I know Bragg's. It's easy. Bragg's fear is that he's the greatest rube of all.
That sounds like a self.
Yeah, it's definitely a self thing. Knowledge and lies. He fears that he's the mark.
Write it down. I realize that I now am the rube. And then just mark self in brackets beside it. Shane.
I would think that Jake's fear would probably be obscurity.
Isolation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then. Maybe falling into obscurity.
Exactly.
All right. Interesting. Cam.
that was kind of the same I was going with, just falling into obscurity or like dying without being known.
But at the same time, that's
also kind of where you live.
Yeah,
that's where you're at.
that's where I'm at right now.
That's where your aspect lives.
Maybe you're afraid of not being needed.
Ooh, also good.
All right, you want to take that?
So just like not being able to.
Yeah, and what do you think? Helplessness or ice? I think helplessness.
That sounds like
Yeah.
helplessness.
helplessness.
Oh yeah, like one time we brought on a roadie who was a little better than you at stuff, and we started calling on him because we forgot you exist.
No, he was better at one thing.
That one thing, like this guy can drive a forklift like it's nobody's business, and so he's the guy we always go to for that. And you're like, but I've been. doing
So
it
what do I
a
mark for
decade."
helplessness? Just-
You don't mark anything.
Okay.
You're just going to make a note on there that says helplessness.
Okay.
Excellent. I'm loving where this is going.
This is
Like
super
for all that I may bitch about this being in a whole different book from the actual game rules, this is a wonderful character creation process.
Yeah, I'm really loving this.
All right then. So apparently you're actually going to put a star down to one of your identities for obsession. I was wrong. Not one of your abilities, one of your identities.
Oh.
The part of your identity that you obsess over.
Oh well, man.
So Avatar would be.
Well,
mine.
is that what you are obsessed over?
I believe that would. Be
Or are you
mine.
obsessed over being that roustabout?
I definitely think the Avatar.
Sure, then put a star next to it.
Yeah. For me, it's definitely old school Carney. Wannabe rocker is an important part of my life,
But,
but
yeah.
it's definitely in the past. You know, when Bragg gets into his 40s, he'll start up the band in Joe's garage.
All right then. The next...
Forever a garage band.
Yeah.
Oh, next up. This is when you were supposed to figure out your features. Well, fuck that. We've done it already.
We did the thing.
Notch 2 more meters.
Hey.
Once again, up to 10. But you don't have to spend any at all if you want.
Well, at this point, I think I'll have to notch a little bit of helplessness.
Sure. How many you want?
We'll bump it up to 3.
Sure. You're still a relatively normal person.
Yeah.
I ain't bumping shit.
All right.
I think you're
Shane,
in good shape
do you want to be a nerd to violence?
Yeah, I'll stick 2 in violence.
So you're up to 3, or?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, then. Add an element or connection, another person or place on the big board, and 1 more connection. Assure your players they don't necessarily have to connect to what they just added. They can just leave that to the other players and you. So I'm going to ask you each to add another person or location. You know what? I'm going to pick for one of you. I think it's going to be for Will. It's going to be your old carnival.
Okay, that's fair. And see, I was going to choose, like, the known wintering grounds of Benton Bros. But Old Carnival makes a lot of sense.
And what do we... And we're going to... I think we're just going to mark... connect you to that, then.
Yeah. The J. Johnny Jones.
Yep.
CanCon.
I think you're...
We're at almost 2 hours on this character creation
Oh my
thing.
God.
Hey, the benefits of Patreon.
Yeah, I think so. No, I'm not sure actually.
Maybe it's one of your films
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, one of your films.
that kind of got a lot of attention. Maybe not the film you wanted to get attention.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's go with that route.
What do you want to call it? This douche is already a film by Alan Smithy,
Yeah.
though.
Oh, what if there's what if it was like a commercial?
Oh, wow.
Right? That would hurt. It's like you did a really great
Oh no,
ad
it
campaign.
took off on YouTube.
That's the thing, you had a viral hit, and it was something you were not proud of that you just did for money, for your real art.
It's like some
Oh, no.
erectile dysfunction.
No,
Both
you did a carnival for this. You did a commercial for the old carnival.
Oh, yeah, man.
I'm just gonna call it the commercial.
The commercial.
I'm gonna.
That's a lot better than what my suggestion was going to be. Hi, this is Anthony Your Eyes Johnson. I hope our prices aren't too low.
You could have done a commercial for Spatula City, Spatula City, Spatula City. All right then, Cam. And Chin, I'm actually going to mark the commercial to the old carnival.
Okay.
And then you're going to kind of tie into that slightly circuitously by your relationship with Bragg, and then
Right. Yeah.
It all works.
yep.
Making a sandwich, still selling fake doors.
I got real fake doors. Cam.
Can I link to maybe one of my old acts, one of the
Sure.
actresses?
She still talks to you sometimes?
Yeah,
Sure, what's her name?
Jane Strong.
Classic.
And is she still performing, or?
Yeah, she hit it big without me.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, she's in Cirque.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's in Vegas right now and doing Zoomanity or something.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But here's the thing. You remember her, and you talk to her sometimes. She legitimately probably doesn't actually remember what your actual
Yeah,
name is.
every time I call,
She has to look you up
be
on
like,
Facebook.
Yeah, she's like, "What's this number?"
Like, she knows
Hello?
that she knows you,
Yeah.
but at the same time, she hit it big, and you're still just plodding along,
Yeah.
doing your thing. You're never going to be famous. My God, these are broken characters. All this game is beautiful.
I really love it.
Okay, guys, I got to give you the bad news, though. It's time to pay the piper.
Okay, hit me.
Add up all your hardened stress.
All of it?
Figure out how much you have total.
So just the check marks, huh?
Yep.
13, unlucky.
Divide by 5.
2-point math.
If there's a divide by 5 and have the players put that number of failed notches on their meters.
All of them?
Minus 16,
well,
so that's 3, right?
3. I'm gonna say
And we're
round
rounding up.
up.
Of course
I'm
we
gonna
are.
say
So it's
round.
3 then.
Yep.
Okay, so I've got 4.
Oh,
Rough.
bro.
Okay, and
You
we
have 20. Wait, you have.
I had 18.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough but fair.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to figure out where you failed things, and I'm gonna tell you how that affects you and breaks you further as a human being.
Exciting.
Will's literally rubbing his hands with glee.
Oh, yeah.
I came in with like this bright character, and now he's just horribly
Yeah,
judged.
that's what Unknown Armies does to you, man.
This is so cool.
You don't come in like a wrecking ball. The game comes in like a wrecking ball.
I'm gonna feel bad when I start playing.
You could just put one in each, which is what Shane did.
Yep, that's fair. Bragg missed. I think he missed like something supernatural going past. Like there's something like maybe something in his past that like looking up on it, like maybe there was a Fiji mermaid or something that came through.
Yeah.
And then, like, looking back, he was like, no, that wasn't a fake. That was legit.
Unnatural. That's literally what the first unnatural one does. It's pretty hard to tell. Perhaps you become a little superstitious, reading your horoscope daily, watching for lucky numbers, avoiding cracks in the sidewalk, etc. Unnatural 2. You have a few nightmares, and you are suspicious and or fascinated by occult and religious books, places, paraphernalia, and people. Do you want to go with unnatural
I'm going to put
Will?
2 in there for sure.
All right. And
then I think a hit, because isolation hits status, right?
Yep. Well, your failed check marks won't actually affect your rolls there.
I know, but I'm just thinking how it affects how he behaves.
You can interact with society and get through your everyday life without real problems. You're maybe a little reserved with people at first, but you feel a kind of gratitude whenever a new acquaintance doesn't reject you.
Yeah, it's not quite it. I was thinking, like...
Oh my god, though, Cam, that's like you.
Yeah, that spells you.
Isolation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you feel a kind of gratitude whenever a new acquaintance doesn't reject you.
I think I'm gonna put 3 in isolation.
If you sleep alone, you sometimes suffer from insomnia. Perhaps you don't like silence when you're by yourself. And that works really great with the.
What does self do if you take a hit?
Self. You don't have any real uncertainty yet, but every now and again you feel a sense of disassociation, an eerie moment when you feel alienated from your own character and motivations. Sure, I know I'm Greg Stolze, you might think, but who's Greg Stolze? Then maybe a few moments later you realize it's definitely not you.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
You are not the author of a role-playing game called Meatbot Massacre.
But, man, I wish I was.
Shane's character's next movie, Meet Greg Stolze.
But it's with an A, obviously.
Yeah. You want to go with one?
I think I'm going to take
self?
my last one in self.
All right,
That'd
then.
be like the Being John Mellencamp.
Right? Because, yeah,
Being Greg Stolze. Mr. Stolze, if you're listening, honestly, your role-playing games are amazing. We're sorry to take the piss out of you.
Thank you so much, though.
But you did write that in there, so we kind of do.
Stolze.
Mental health check. When you counted up those hard notches, did you get 25 or more? None of you did. Fine. Good. We're moving on.
I mean, this guy's got some weird mental health going on.
Well, your mental health problems. And you know what, listeners? I'm going to call that. We have our group. Oh, your cabal needs a name.
Oh, yeah.
The 3 of you, having just left the old carnival for unspecified reasons, out on the road, driving across America to the Benton Brothers, where you're hoping to sign on the carnival of milk and honey, of gold and plenty. Mm-hmm. What do you call yourselves now? Because you've become, as you've traveled, you've become an act, and that act has become part of the occult underground.
The Gulls!
Not the Gulls.
We are not calling our gang the Gulls, Cam.
Should he car the Gulls? The Gull?
Oh, didn't Mercury have a seagull or something?
We'll look it up later.
Yeah, anyways. Whatever it is gull-wing doors. We need a good name.
This is the part where you guys always have problems.
Because good names are so important, and there's so many
and
options.
plenty, yeah.
We are... okay, so we could be...
Traveling across America in a truck full of carnival gear, driven by Chuck, obviously.
I mean, ultimately...
Don't even think about it.
Oh, of course.
Chuck drives the car.
Of course he drives. Do we are we performing our way to Benton Brothers, or are we just hightailing?
Hightailing, I think. But, like, taking it slow, going.
No, you're
we're
totally performing your way.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're busking our way.
We're busting our way across America,
you're-
because that means we have an act. What do we call our act?
And the name of your act is going to be the name of your cabal.
Exactly.
And that's where we're going to finish this episode.
Okay, so we've got a guy who can do strongman stuff.
Yeah.
We can do some sweet projections. And we've got a guy who can do like a little bit of everything, magic and stuff. What if we're doing like an escape act? Right? Or no, we could also be doing a 10-in-1. That'd be interesting.
Always have an escape act and call it Fuck Houdini. Oh, it's F star CK Houdini.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You must have seen that episode of Ghostbusters. You don't fuck with Houdini.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Can I have like an act in that act called like muscle monologues or something?
Muscle.
Well, and he did strongman stuff too.
All right then, we're going with the cabal. Fuck Houdini. No,
Yeah,
it's just sort of like
F,
Houdini.
yeah.
F star CK Houdini.
Yeah, there's an exclamation mark in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, write it down, everybody.
F Houdini.
You're gonna get locked in a box by a ghost in a purple straitjacket.
We're gonna fight the ghost of Houdini. I don't like it.
Well, actually, it almost works as well because Houdini was a famous debunker.
Well, and that's the thing. We're also gonna.
I think the gimmick is we go around and we do some of Houdini's classic acts, and then we project some footage of what he did, and then we show how it's done, right? In like a
Harry Houdini was
bullshit
famous
way.
for debunking the supernatural. Where today, folks, we're gonna debunk Houdini.
Yeah, that's the gimmick right there.
All right then. Okay, well, we're gonna be back next episode with the actual adventures of the Fuck Houdini crew as they travel across America in search of the Benton Brothers Circus, and mysteries and strange happenings shall unfold.
Yeah.
It gonna be fun. Bye. Oh yeah, I'm Derek the Bard for Chase the Muse, and I've been joined with
Will Mitchell.
Hey, Fitzgerald.
Cameron Dunn.
You'll come back now and don't be a bunch of rubes.
Yeah, make sure you check out our Grand Egress.
Yes. Find the majestic egress. Only $5. Ciao.
The Terrible Warriors has new episodes out every Tuesday and Thursday, and Unknown Armies, a film by Alan Smithy, will return in 2 weeks' time. What started as a lark turns deadly, and things get mysterious in Shrube County. And should you return to us on Tuesday, we're still running through our premiere episodes of our second batch of Year 5 campaigns. So on Tuesday, let's start a new story. You voted for this if you're a Patreon supporter when we put up a poll asking you what game to play next. Will Mitchell makes his Game Master debut on the Terrible Warrior podcast in a game of romance, adventure, swashbuckling, and sorcery. We're playing the 7th Sea. And next Thursday, alternating with Unknown Armies, Derek the Burrow is still running his Thursday game, and this time he's brought players from across the country and enrolled them into a place called Kagagami High. Now the Terrible Warriors are going back to school, but this school's a little weird. I mean, is that one a bird? Yep, that's a bird. Also on Tuesday, alternating with the 7th Sea, Bree is running through a game. It's her first game, also first-time GM here on the show. It's Star Wars, Ashes of the Empire. Oh, this isn't the Star Wars you know. This time, they're the bad guys. Definitely the bad guys. Episode 2 in 2 weeks' time. And along with our roster of rotating one-shot campaigns, we've got some bonus episodes for you every single Sunday. Justin Eacock is running us through Modifius's Living Campaign and Star Trek Adventures. Every Sunday is Star Trek Sundays. First up in the list of Living Campaign adventures is the rescue on Xerxes 4. We'll get back to the horizon, but for now they gotta deal with a whole crashing on an alien world problem. And if you were listening to the preview of the Cambridge Chronicles podcast, that preview has come to its end. But the Cambridge Chronicles have not ended at all. No. You can subscribe to the Cambridge Chronicles right now by searching for it wherever you find podcasts or by visiting terriblewarriors.com/Cambridge Chronicles. It's an ongoing Dungeons & Dragons campaign run by Mike Dodd out of his house in Guelph. It's classic Terrible Warriors. It's stripped right back to our roots. One game, one gaming group, one game master. The Cambridge Chronicles Weekly. Subscribe now! Oh, become a Patreon supporter at terriblewarriors.com/Patreon. When you do that, you get to be named in our games, you get postcards sent in the mail, you get access to our exclusive debrief episodes, you get your name turned orange on the Discord channel, which, along with being hella cool, also gives you access to our virtual studio audience, where you can listen in on select games that we patch into Discord, so you can hear what it's like when we record live. Follow us on Twitter at Dice Warriors. Send us your play reports at feedback@terriblewarriors.com. Come back to us in 2 weeks' time for the next episode in Unknown Armies, because today's Terrible Warriors were Derek Burrow, Shane Fitzgerald, Cameron Dunn, and Will Mitchell. We'll see you next time, right here on the Terrible Warriors.